This is Kuma. In some cities, Kuma would be considered a vicious dog and could be destroyed simply because he's an Akita. This is an example of breed-specific legislation, or BSL. In Iowa, the city of Des Moines defines a vicious dog as any dog that is or looks like a pit bull type breed. And if you're the owner of one of these vicious dogs, you would be subject to strict kenneling and confinement regulations. You would have to maintain a liability insurance of at least $100,000, and you have to have special licensing. Now, the third time that your vicious dog is found to be not confined according to law or is not licensed, your dog will be destroyed. Your dog can be seized and impounded if someone thinks it looks like a vicious breed. And if you don't redeem your dog within the 7-day impoundment period and it still looks like those vicious breeds, your dog will be destroyed. Your dog's good behavior and sweet disposition will not save its life. It's all about its breed and what it looks like. That means in Iowa, if Lassie looked like a pit bull, she could be destroyed if the Martins didn't license, insure, and confine her properly. Poor Timmy would still be out in the well and nobody would know about it. Now, the purpose of BSL is to keep people safe from vicious dogs. The idea is that by banning breeds that are prone to attack from the community will be safer. But who decides which breeds are prone to attack? I mean, if you look throughout history, various breeds had that bad dog notoriety, and that's all because of how people use them. It started with the bloodhounds when they were used to track down and capture slaves. The Nazis did it for the Dobermans and the Rottweilers when they used them as guard dogs throughout World War II. And now it's pit bulls because they're popular in dogfighting circles, and the street gangs like to use them as guard dogs and status symbols. The media doesn't help either. In 2008, the National Canine Research Council released a report on media bias. They compared the media coverage for various dog attacks within a 4-day period in 2007, and they found that 2 children and 1 elderly man were attacked by mixed breed dogs. 1 child died. A total of 4 articles were printed in the local newspaper, whereas 1 woman is hospitalized by 2 pit bulls, and there are over 230 articles in national and international newspapers, plus it made it onto the cable news networks. On top of that, visual identification of breeds compounds the problem because most people get it wrong, even the professionals. Take, for example, Nico down in Kansas City, Kansas. He was seized and impounded because people thought he was a pit bull. His owners fought the city for 8 months in court, had to get a DNA test done to prove that he was just a boxer mix. And poor Nico had to spend those 8 months in the shelter away from his family. He lost fur, he lost weight, and he developed a cough. Breed misidentification is common, and it kills thousands of innocent dogs every year. Now, the Animal Rescue League of Iowa, along with many other animal and dog-affiliated organizations, view BSL as ineffective because the act of a dog biting, mauling, and killing a human is not addressed. In fact, they denounce any legislation that would ban or restrict a dog based on its appearance, and instead would propose legislation that would address the individual dog's actions. In fact, studies have found that breed has little to do with aggression compared to other factors such as sterilization, the amount of training the dog has, the environment the dog lives in, and how the people treat the dog. So in lieu of breed-specific legislation, these organizations propose legislations that would educate the public on canine behavior, that would make sterilization programs cheaper and more accessible. It would hold the dog owners responsible for their dog's actions, both legally and financially, instead of making the dog responsible. And it would also keep the individual dog responsible for its provoked aggression instead of making the whole breed responsible for it. So BSL, banning breeds to keep people safe from vicious dogs, is a lot like banning Arabs from boarding airplanes to keep people safe from terrorists. It's not right, it's not logical, and it's ineffective. The underlying cause of people getting bitten by dogs is related to people. By fixing people, you will fix the dog. Right, Kuma?